Welcome into Picks and Parlays Power Hour. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. You can follow me on Twitter at HannMears right there, or better yet, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of our Picks and Parlays content, including my daily Mearsy Minutes. But also don't forget about something called NoHouseAdvantage.com. Right there, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. We all love some fantasy sports, so sign up now with promo code PNP at NoHouseAdvantage.com or download the app on the App Store to get a first deposit match up to $50. That's NoHouseAdvantage.com. Now it's time to talk a little bit of football with my buddy, Nick. We're going to bring him in. Hello, Nick.
Hello.
Exciting sports week. I can't believe that football season is pretty much almost over, to be honest. It's getting kind of crazy that it's gone so fast at the moment, but is what it is. And we've got bowl games to start talking about. And before we get into these bowl games, let's let everybody know that right now at picksandparlays.net/bowl pass, you can pick any two handicappers, get their bowl pass for only $2.99. So there's going to be a lot of picks, a lot of ways to make money with these bowl games by going to picksandparlays.net/bowl pass. One of the bowls that we have is this Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl, the electrifying matchup between Washington State and Fresno State. Fresno State favored at -3, the total at 53.5. Now, Fresno State has lost 4 of their last 5 Pac-12 games, but they really do have a stellar defense, allowing 16 or fewer points in about 8 games of 13, I think, so far this season. So watch out for that defense. But how do you think that plays out for them in this bowl game?
Yeah, watch out for the defense, but when we look at it here, one thing that makes bowl season extremely tricky, especially this year more than ever, is one thing I've noticed is the transfer portal and players opting out and things along those lines and coaches departing. So those are bowl games are much more of a difficult cap than regular season games because you can't just use your power rankings and figure them out that way because a lot of players are missing, and that's going to be more on the side of Washington State in this game. Defensive coordinator is leaving to take a position at Arizona State. The head coach is going to be calling the defensive calls. And then they're also going to be down a couple linebackers, Tavion Brown and Mayo Gio. I want to say that's how you pronounce it. And then also Henley, who is an all-team Pac-12 player for Washington State. Linebacker won't be playing in this game, and so neither will one of their receivers. And on the other side, Fresno State's going to be missing one of their defensive backs who entered the transfer portal. So one thing I think we're going to notice a lot, and we saw this a lot last year as well, these earlier bowl games, these before Christmas bowl games, I think started 16-5 to the over last year or something along those lines. We just saw a bunch of shootouts in these early bowl games, and I think we can potentially see one here with all the defensive pieces missing for Washington State. Yeah. And both these offenses can have the ability to put up points. So I do like the over 53.5 in this game. I'm going to be looking at a lot of overs in early bowl games here, especially when all these teams really want to do is put on a show for their last game of the year. So expect a little bit more offense here for these early bowl games.
I agree, especially because, like you said, it is so hard to cap these games knowing so many of their star players are going to sit out and declare for the draft. So if I know anything, it's that Nick has put in a lot of thought into giving you these picks. So I appreciate you. Make sure everybody you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are live here on Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Now, Nick, it's time for us to talk some NFL. The Atlanta Falcons at the New Orleans Saints. The Saints favored at -3, the total at 43. The Saints defense will definitely be applying some pressure, so we'll get to that. But I'm going to put some pressure on everybody watching right now and tell them, if you go to picksandparlays.net, which you should, /bowl pass, you can pick any two handicappers, get their bowl pass for only $2.99. Merry Christmas to you and happy holidays. There's your gift. But will the Saints leave this game with the gift of a win? Or will this be a really low-scoring game? Both are possible. What do you think?
Yeah, I really want nothing to do with the side in this game. And this is also going to be Desmond Ritter's opening or his debut for the Atlanta Falcons as they gave him the starting job over Marcus Mariota. And then Marcus Mariota is stepping away from football operations for right now. So he lost his job, and now he's stepping away. But hey, And I think that this is not an easy defense for Desmond Ridder to start against. Now, obviously, the Saints have not been as good as we thought they were going to be this year. And also, this game falls into one of my systems that I like to bet unders with, and that's divisional matchups. And divisional matchups, I believe, are hitting around 58 to 60% to the under this year. And that's something I'm looking at here as well. I'm on the under 43. I see a lower scoring game. Atlanta has gone under in 4 of their last 5 games, and the Saints have gone under in 5 of their last 6 games. So both these teams have been trending under as well lately. I end up getting 43.5 for this game. Shop around. You'll probably be able to find the hook there, which is important for like a 23-20 type of game here. But yeah, I do like the under 43.5 if you can find it.
Yeah, I would look at that too. That's why I said, I'm sure the under is going to be a hot one here, and I knew you'd be looking at that. So Nick likes the Falcons and Saints at under 43. Desmond Ridder is not going to be able to handle the pressure, I don't think. So we'll see, but it will be exciting for the Atlanta Falcons. I think this might be the change that they need moving forward to see if this is the future of what their team could be. As always, like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We are live, Picks and Parlays Power Hour, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Now it's time for Nick Earl's favorite part of every week, where he and I get to talk about Thursday night football prop bets. I say that as he hates the prop bets, but it's something I do love. I think it's a lot of fun. We have the Niners and Seahawks. Now the Seahawks had a little bit of a surprising performance last weekend. We'll get to that, but this Niners defense is legit. So we've got a lot of things to talk about. But I also want everyone to know that they can go pick any 2 handicappers right now. Only $2.99. You get their entire bull pass at picksandparlays.net/bull pass. Happy holidays to you. Now, the Thursday night props that you like in this one. A lot of mine might be dealing with McCaffrey, but it looks like you're picking on old Geno Smith here. Why and what do we have going on?
Yeah, I'm going to pick on Geno Smith. Really, I'm going to back the 49ers defense in this game because my game bets are the 49ers -3 in the under in this game. So I do like this game to be one of those where, similar to the last time these two teams played, where it was 27-7, something along those lines. This 49ers team defense is legit. They're number 1 in the NFL in total yards allowed, number 1 in rushing yards allowed, and number 1 in points allowed, and they're number 5 in turnovers. So I like Geno Smith to throw an interception. He did, I believe, if not once, but twice in the first meeting here. He did once in the first meeting where he also threw for 197 yards and no touchdowns. And I see something similar in this game as well. And I think we're going to start to see the demise here of the Seattle Seahawks. They started off nice, but they've come back down to earth. They're 0-4 ATS, 1-3 straight up in their last 4 games. So I'm expecting them to struggle a little bit more. And I was actually looking at it was either going to be the Geno Smith ones, or I was actually going to give out some futures for this game because I like the 49ers to not only win the NFC but the Super Bowl. And those are 2 futures I'm looking to make wagers on. You can get plus 300 for them to win the NFC, and you can get plus 700 for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I think that this defense is going to be able to carry them throughout the playoffs. I think they're able to get through a very weak NFC conference, and their defense can probably match up well with a type of Bengals or Chiefs or Bills type of matchup there. So I was leaning towards giving those out as potential, if you want to call them props as well, but I went with completely fading Geno Smith here.
I don't think I can blame you in this one, and not for just saying, Geno Smith is falling apart, but it's because of that Niners defense. Geno Smith has done well in some prop bets for me this season, so I won't say anything bad about him, but I think we're finally seeing where everyone expected the Seahawks to be this season compared to how they were starting out, but now you're really seeing playoff teams emerge, and they're peaking at the right time in terms of when we're talking about the Niners, and I think Brock Purdy is going to do just fine for them, to be honest. He just has to play a clean game, and he seems capable of doing that. Rely on McCaffrey and your defense, and you should be fine. So I like your prop bets here. So much fun. We'll see if they come to fruition. Thursday night football, Niners and Seahawks. Let's go. And remember, like, subscribe, follow along, ring the bell for notifications. Picks and Parlays Power Hour live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, Nick. I'm your host, Hannah Mears. You can follow me on Twitter at HannMears. And now it's time to bring in my next Power Hour guest, the boss man himself, Mr. Craig Trapp. How are you doing, Craig?
Pretty good. I thought it was one of those, weeks where we could maybe make some money. I'll try to get my lights set up here. Sorry. Make some money with the NFL. This is the time of year, though, It's
Yeah.
holiday season, so we're going to give some free winners here, and it's a time of year that you got to be careful because tons of different things going on in the NFL. You got teams off of buys, you got teams off of that have played a bunch in recent times. So I'm excited though. I think this is a week that I had about 5 or 6 games circled here that I really like, and our friends, our friend Lenny picked out some of them I actually had circled as well.
All right. Well, let's also give everyone a gift this holiday season, and let's tell them about this 2 handicappers bull pass, Craig. They can go pick any 2 handicappers for only $2.99. Get a full bull pass. Picksandparlays.net/bull pass. I'm assuming you have one of those, correct?
Yeah, you can pick any 2. There's 28 or 29 of us now here, experts, so you can choose me and somebody else, or just 2 other handicappers, whichever your favorite 2. And usually I have I'll probably end up having about 30 bowl picks, 28 to 30. There's a couple, as I know you've already talked to some of our experts, but that you just can't really pick until right before the game because there's so much up in the air with bowl action. So, but it'll be 20 plus plays. Just say that.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone needs some advice into bowl games, especially because you have to keep tabs on all of these teams and who's not going to be playing and who's a big factor and going to the draft and things like that. So get as much help as you can get when you're putting money on bowl games.
And sometimes the best bet is no bet. That's like, the facts. That's just sometimes people answer me, well, I really want this game. And I'm like, hey, listen, there's just not enough information. It's like you might as well flip a coin.
Yep. You're not wrong. Well, we're not going to be flipping coins on this one because we've got some expertise in the NFL atmosphere this week. 5 NFL games, 5-ish minutes, starting with the Miami Dolphins in Buffalo. Buffalo favored at -75, the total at 42 in what could be a weather outing here in Buffalo, that typical Buffalo atmosphere. So tell me what you like in this game and why.
This is one of those games. Miami has not looked good the last 2 games. They faced 2 good defenses. They struggled in both. Now they face a third defense that, I guess you would say it's a good defense. I think their defense is like, it's built for their offense. Their offense can score a bunch. Their defense can really rush the passer. And it's going to be cold for the Dolphins. So I really kind of wanted to say take the Bills minus the points because the Dolphins minus 35 degrees are just not a good football team historically. But I think the safer play is you take the over in this one. I think the Bills are going to be able to score a bunch because they found their running attack recently.
Yes,
and
they
when
did.
it's snowing, you got to be able to run the ball. I think this Bills team is going to put up 30 against the Dolphins. The Dolphins defense is suspect. I mean, even going back to this, remember they played Detroit. Detroit really did whatever they wanted. I like the over in this game. Now, this is one on, like you said, if we end up getting 4 or 5 inches, then obviously I would not play the over in this game unless the over comes way down. It would need to come down in the mid-30s for me to be on the over there. But I just think it's going to be like, snowy, then I would play the over.
Right, little flurries. Yeah,
flurries.
Typical
But if it's
cold, flurry, Buffalo weather.
Inches of snow, under.
Fair enough. But no, I agree. Buffalo's found a new identity on offense, and now they've got weapons in both sides, essentially. So I like this one as well. Expose the Dolphins at their weakest point.
And let's remember there's a little revenge in this one too, because the Bills were lost at Miami early in the season.
Yes, they did. And that was when the Miami team was on a hot streak. So let's take advantage of them while they're down, right? Kick the Dolphins while they're down. All right, next game we've got on the slate is the Titans in LA facing Justin Herbert and his Chargers, who kind of look like they're on the come up here. They might be peaking at the right time. We'll see. Chargers favored at -3, the total at 46.5. But will it be enough for the Chargers to take down the Titans and Derrick Henry?
The Chargers are one of those teams that they did look good last week. Like we just talked about Miami, they kind of kicked Miami while they were down, let's just say. But I think the Titans have something for them here. I just think this Titans defense and running game, the way to stop good offenses, don't let them on the field. And the Titans are really good at that. They're good at getting teams off, get 3 and outs. And then when they get the ball, they maintain possession of the ball. I did like the Jags last week in an upset. They did upset the Titans, but I think the Titans are ready to go in LA. I think Derrick Henry has a big day. Give me Tennessee +3. I think they went outright. Sprinkle the money line on this one.
All right. Sprinkle alert. Sprinkle that money line. I like that. I do think the Titans are a dangerous team when they're at a disadvantage like this at a +3 because of the impact a player like Derrick Henry can have in an instant to switch the flow of this game. So I'm actually interested in that pick. Our next game here on our slate of 5 picks, your Bengals favorite at -3.5 in Tampa Bay, who looks abysmal and in just total disarray at this point. The total at 44. Are the Bengals continuing to grow and really putting on a show in Tampa, or is this what's going to happen here?
I mean, can you get out the shovel and put the Tampa Bay and the Bucs in the ground? This would do it this week if Cincinnati wins. Now they still might be able to win that terrible division. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, their season would really be over. I just don't think you could come back from this. I do think Cincinnati in the first half is the play. Cincinnati's been pretty good lately, getting up in the first half, and this is a team that's tough to prepare for. As good as this Bucs defense has been at times this year, it's a tough team to prepare for because the Bengals can beat you running the ball. They have good possession receivers, and then of course they have Jamar Chase and Burrow connection that's been as good as any connection in football this year when they've been able to stay on the field together. So first half, Bengals -2. I do think the Bengals cover for the game as well, but I think it's much safer to take the first half -2.
Especially because you don't want to give Tom Brady any time to figure something out. I know he hasn't been playing well this year, but you can never count him out in terms of, being able to cover against you or figure something out in the second half to make it a little bit of a closer game. So, yeah.
And the Bengals defense doesn't get enough credit. I mean, they don't have that, like most great defenses have that one name player, the Watt brothers, Aaron Donald, whoever. The Bengals don't have that. It's a no-name defense that just plays well together. And this Bengals defense is playing really good. Ask Cleveland how good they were last week. Well,
don't ask me about certain defenses right now and how they should be playing and what those names are. All right, the next game on our slate, the New York Giants and Washington favored at -4.5, the total at 40.5. If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago if this was the line, I don't know if I would have believed you because of how we've seen the Giants play. But are you as high on the Commanders as the line is saying it should be?
Well, the Giants' first half of the season was as good as any team in football. The second half has not been so good for them.
Right.
The Eagles just did whatever they wanted. Washington's for real. Washington is, I think, clearly going to win this game. But the way Washington wins games, there are a lot of close games. 3-4 points is that 4.5 is too much. So I played the total in this one. The first game went under. I know it was 20-20, and we needed a miracle to get it, but it did go under. I think this one goes under a little easier. These teams had a couple quick scores in the first matchups. I don't think that's not really how these defenses allow. They usually make you march down the field, and these offenses usually that's how they move the ball. I like the under 40.5 in this one. I do think it's like a 2017 type Washington win.
Yeah, especially because a team like the Giants as well, they're going to be running Saquon Barkley if he's as healthy as what he should be this week. Like they like to run the ball, slower paced games. I like this one here too, but I do agree with what you said. I don't know if I like that 4.5 line either, though. I mean, I know Washington's for real, but is it enough?
4.5 and 5 are like death lines for favorite. Just so
I've seen some weird lines the past 2 weeks. With last week's lines, I was like all over the place with.
Because 4 is like a tough number to cover as a favorite. So 4.5 is even harder because obviously 14-10, you wouldn't even win on that type of cover. So yeah.
All right, we're gonna ride the under on this one at 40.5. We've got one more game on the slate. I believe we have the Lions, the Detroit Lions, and Mr. Dan Campbell marching into New York to take on the Jets. The total at 44.5. The marquee of the year compared to
Detroit Lenny.
Saying, listen, the Jets looked like they had their guy. Now he's pretty much hurt. They're relying on Joe Flacco, not even going back to their draft pick, which is crazy. I mean, they're just totally out on him. So the Lions, though, looking pretty good, coming together. I mean, they're riding high on emotions, if nothing else. So what do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
If you're going to beat Detroit, you're going to have to score points.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a problem for the Jets. I think the Lions win, but I think the safer play, you take the over. I mean, Detroit makes you play fast.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, before it's like they score early. It's one of the best first half teams. I would take Detroit, first half. You probably can get them at even money at -110 or -105. I think they'll be winning at half. I also think the over, though. Over 44.5. I think Detroit's putting up 27. I know this is a good Jets defense. They've put up big numbers against great defenses this year. Really, the only game that was scratch your head was that game in New England. But hey, Coach Belichick will do that to people. Since then, this Lions offense has been awesome. I like the over 44.5 here.
That was one of the numbers I was looking at, was Lions in the first half, because if anything else, besides the fact that they've been great so far this season, in that they're coming out with the identity in this game. If anything, they know who they are right away and they can step right into what they've been doing, whereas the Jets are going to be struggling just a little bit more to figure that out coming into this one. So, all right, we've got the over 44.5 there. Love it. I believe that was our last game, right? Can I count right? I think I counted right. Like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Picks and Parlays Power Hour live Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. And thank you so much, Craig, for joining me.